what is Mexico like during the pandemic? Over on Instagram, I've been getting so many questions from people asking me what is the scene like here in Vallarta, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how they are handling the current pandemic. Hey travelers, my name is Juliana and that's my husband Martín. We've been traveling around the world for 4 years and fitting it into our lives any way possible, whether that be volunteering in hostels, working on cruise ships, taking short weekend adventures, or living as expats working remotely. Our goal is to show you how to have unique and memorable trips no matter what your circumstances. Just a general disclaimer, I do not endorse non-essential travel right now. I do live here in Vallarta. I plan to be here for quite a few months, and I know so many other people have homes here or live nearby and just want to know what the scene is like. So today we're going to be talking about what's open, what's closed, and how they're handling the pandemic. Let's get started. Puerto Vallarta is of course a tourist city, and it's been hit very hard by the pandemic. It's really hard to see some of our favorite businesses and restaurants closed upon our return. Mexico is using a color code system for each of its states to determine which phase of reopening they're at. The most restrictive phase is phase red, but currently the state of Jalisco is in phase orange, which means things are starting to lighten up in terms of restrictions. However, the nearby state of Nayarit is still in code red, so just be aware that if you do plan to do day trips over in Nayarit, probably a lot of your things that you're wanting to see are closed. According to some information I found from local government, 71% of people in Jalisco are going out on the streets again, and hospitals are currently at a 26.8% capacity. At this time, there are currently 1,650 active cases of coronavirus in Jalisco. I've seen on Facebook that there are places that do have testing available. Just be aware that a lot of the testing is a lot more expensive than what you would see in the United States, for example. Next, we're going to talk about different precautions I've seen the businesses taking here in Vallarta. In Vallarta, the malls have opened, but with limited hours. Currently, they are not open on Saturday and Sunday. We visited La Isla and the Gallerias, and we had to take our temperature upon entering. They also require you to step on an antibacterial mat when you enter every store, as well as put on hand sanitizer. There are markings on the ground of where you should stand in many of the stores, so please be aware of your surroundings. And of course, don't forget that sacred mask. You're going to need that to enter a lot of the stores. In almost all the stores from La Isla to Oxxo's, they're having you step on an antibacterial mat, put on hand sanitizer, and wear a mask. The mask thing has been pretty well enforced where I've been, but I've heard that some places do not enforce it. Keep in mind, I would highly recommend that you wear a mask, even though it is super hot and humid. Just do it. Many of us who do live here are, and we don't want to spread anything any further.
Sweating like a pig. Sweating like a pig.
I thought that the antibacterial mat idea was super innovative, requiring gel. I've been seeing so much hand sanitizer everywhere. There's definitely not a short supply of it here. So those things alone have really impressed me from where I've come in California and other parts of Mexico. In regards to restaurants, many are open at a 50% capacity. There is spacing between many of the tables, and al fresco dining is very easy to find here. Additionally, many of the restaurants offer delivery if you don't feel comfortable going out yet. I'm really glad to see things open up again, but I have heard that not everyone is playing by the rules. In fact, some bars are not allowed to be open and are posing as restaurants. Some restaurants are filling over capacity, and because of this, the governor of Jalisco has actually made the threat to press the red button whenever needed to put us back into lockdown if cases rise. I get the impression that although what I see here in downtown Vallarta has been very positive, that other areas outside of the city or in other parts of Jalisco have not been responding as well. Additionally, seeing pictures of crowded beaches on the weekends, I'm sure has just made the governor think a little bit harder about if we are ready to be opening up again. In terms of the Malecon, one of my favorite places in Vallarta, it is open and available for you to walk, run, bike, whatever you need, but just keep in mind it is a place to be strolling. It is not a place to be stopping. Half the Malecon is blocked off, the part of that is near the ocean, and that is to encourage people not to loiter. What about the mask situation? It is so hot and humid here. Well, from what I've noticed, when people are not around others on the Malecon, they're not wearing a mask. Same with those who are running or biking. But as you get into more crowded areas, people are throwing on their masks. Now, in terms of hotels, they're allowed to open at a limited capacity, but some hotels have chosen not to open up quite yet in fear that there's going to be a second wave. This has been the case with Hyatt Ziva. They're also an all-inclusive, so I imagine it's rather difficult for them to open when they have buffet-style dining. Let's talk beaches. Many public and private beaches are now open, but but they're encouraging people to take precautions and remain socially distant. Now, what they say people should do is a little bit different from what people have seen people doing. People have reported that Los Muertos Beach is packed on weekends, likely due to tourists coming from Guadalajara. Some say that the smaller beaches, such as Conchas Chinas and Playa Las Gemelas, have not been as crowded. Personally, I am not risking going to the beach right now. That is just my personal preference. This week, public parks, local gyms, and cinemas were supposed to open, but that decision was changed due to the increase in cases. I am surprised and kind of confused too, because I have seen a couple local gyms open, so I'm not quite sure what the deal is. I'm not sure if that's really allowed. In terms of pools, hotel pools tend to be open. A lot of the pools in condominiums are open, but I know some have decided to remain closed. If you're curious what our experience was like flying into Vallarta the other week, we actually made a whole video dedicated to that, so I'm not gonna talk about it in this video, but I can tell you that the Puerto Vallarta airport was very quiet. I didn't go through immigration there. I did enter through Mexico City, and I actually wasn't asked to say why I was there or how long I was gonna be there. I do fear that if tourism increases, we are going to go back into lockdown again. I do know that things are changing every single day, so what I'm saying right now in this video could be totally different in a week or two. Vallarta has kind of stepped up into the 21st century, and there's been a lot of really great things that have come from this quarantine time that are helping it be easier to get the basic necessities. For example, Rappi, which is a common delivery service, is getting really popular. A lot of the restaurants are doing delivery as well, and La Comer actually has a delivery option. It's about 90 pesos, and you can get all your groceries delivered to your home. I live in downtown, so this is very, very convenient to me and kept me from having to make a unnecessary trip to the store. Additionally, I've noticed a lot more construction happening. The Rio Quale area is being redone, and a lot of the streets are being repaved. Personally, the idea of travel right now is a little bit controversial because, of course, we don't want tourists coming here and causing the virus to spread even more. And the idea of closing again could mean many people not being able to afford food or housing, and that's terrifying. I'll be doing my part, staying indoors as much as possible and ordering delivery from restaurants directly to help them to be able to stay afloat. That's all we can do for now. I hope this video was helpful for you guys to understand what the situation is like in Vallarta. I know many of you guys are just trying to get back, so hopefully this gave you a clearer picture of what it's like so that you can make a decision for yourself if you're going to be coming back here. I have tons of other videos about Vallarta on my page. I also travel all over Mexico, so check out those videos as well after this. Hope you guys enjoyed this. So long, travel well, and make the world your neighborhood. See you guys next time. Bye!